Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I would personally like to congratulate the government of the United States of America for getting the US oil strategic reserves to a very, very low point, and by sucking the oil out of it and also selling it to others. Well, it seems like this level is so low and is the lowest level since 1985, according to this article coming from Business Insider. From August 23rd, U.S. strategic oil reserves have hit their lowest level since 1985 after Joe Biden's record sales. Good job. Good job. If you need to use the reserves, the strategic reserves, that means they're strategic because it's a crisis somewhere. I would like to know where the crisis exactly is. Is it the one in Ukraine that really affects us? And if it's so, why is that? Do the Russians stop selling oil, producing oil? No. Oh, United States does what it does best, which is blackmail and threats and sanctions. Let's add that one, right? So if that's a crisis, you cannot figure things out and you have to do that, right? So if the Russian war in Ukraine goes, so it's 6 months, this got to a very low level. If it goes about a year and a half, we're going to suck all the reserves dry? No. All right, let's read the article. The U.S. strategic petroleum reserves have dropped to their lowest level since 1985. Stockpiles have fallen to 453, so remember 453 million barrels after President Joe Biden ordered a record release to ease gas prices. And he also sent some to other countries. Now, the oil reserves, when they're full, they are at a capacity of 714 million barrels. 14, so it's 714, and we are 453. All right, so that's depletion of about almost 300 billion barrels. Almost 300. So if you go 300 out of 700, that's a third. It's not even, it's more than a third. So in 6 months, we got, but actually he started this, I think, in not in March. In March, I can't remember exactly when they started, maybe 3 months. Remember, these guys are going to tell us. But we're going to discuss this after we read the article a little bit more. Analysts say release from global reserves have contributed to the sharp fall in oil prices. Okay. The U.S. strategic oil reserves fell to their lowest level in 37 years last week as the releases ordered by President Joe Biden continued. They said it's going to be 6 months, 1 million barrels a day. Strategic petroleum reserves, so then it's 1 million. If they fell that means what, about 3? It's about a month and a half, 2 months almost. Strategic petroleum reserves, stockpiles, fell to 453.1 million barrels in the week of Friday, in the week to Friday, according to Department of Energy data. That's the lowest level, 1985. Stockpiles have fallen by more than 100 million barrels this year after the White House ordered the release of record amounts. How 160? 160 plus 453, that's what? 611, let's say. So 611, it's not 714. So I'm guessing they were not full when to start with. It's even okay. So Biden said in March, all right, that was March, that the U.S. would release 1 million barrels of oil a day for 6 months as energy prices spike in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which adds up to about 100 million barrels. 180. So it's 180 and we are 160. So we got what, 20 more days? So we got 20 more days, and after 20 more days, the reserves will fall, let's say, 20 million, so there would be 433. So 433. What's going to happen next? So that's 433. Let's make it 400 and something. It's almost half of the reserves is gone. They're gone. The White House then said in late July that the US would release another 20 million barrels. Yeah, that's the last portion until they get to 160. Meanwhile, the US has pushed for other countries to release oil from their strategic reserves in an effort to boost supply and cool the pressure in the market. In March, the International Energy Agency said no US member countries would open up an additional 60 million barrels. Wow, they said no so far. So Brent crude oil has lost about 20% from its June heights, while WTI crude, the US benchmark price, has dropped around 24%. That decline has brought US gasoline prices blah blah blah. The combined international agreements will result in an estimated 260 million barrels of supply released to the global market by October, top economists said. The strategic petroleum reserves is kept in huge underground salt caverns at 4 major facilities in Texas and Louisiana. When the US releases oil from the reserves, the Department of Energy sells the crude in an auction to the highest bidder. At its peak in 2009, the SPR held 727 million barrels. So it was not 714, 727. I looked, I don't know, in March. I think it was 714 in Wikipedia. So 727, let's go with that one. Crude oil. The US consumer consumed about 20 million barrels of oil a day on average in 2021, according to the Energy Information Agency, while it produced around 11 million barrels a day. So that means they're short 9 million barrels a day. United States consumed 11 and they consume 20 and they produce 11. So they're short. The Biden administration is proposing to refill the stockpiles under a plan that is likely to see it order 60 million barrels this fall. How? I mean, this is words. We're gonna increase it. Okay, how? Because you're still sucking it, and you're still in deficit. You consume 20 million, and you produce 11 million. So how are you gonna fill them back up? Like they say, administration proposing. Yeah, I can propose going to Mars right now. We're gonna do it, man. Yeah, you're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna be the first ones, and we, chest bump and all that. Words, man, words. This is what these guys are doing. What I think is going to happen, they think they will unless the sanctions are lifted or something else happens, which I just read an article on OPEC, and the OPEC said they will decrease the output of oil on the market. So if they will decrease the output, that means less oil. That means the price jumps of the oil per barrel, and then United States have to suck more. So they're going to extend 6 months, another 6 months. That means another 180, right? So another 180 million barrels out of 450. So there's what? 350, 200 and something, 280 or something like that, or whatever. It's going to be one quarter left in the reserves. So that means if the war still goes, and besides, let's say the war ends today, do you think these guys are going to lift the sanctions tomorrow? And everything's going to be pump, everybody's going to pump? No, it's going to take a while until the Russians behave and all that. So I don't know what the plan is, do you know? Because if they need to suck from the reserves, they still have sanctions on Russia because Russia invaded. That war is not going to end yesterday. Let's say it ends today. By the time it ends today, how will it end? With the Russians going back? What if they don't want to go back? That means the sanctions will stay. If the sanctions stay, what are you going to do? You're minus 9 million barrels a day, right? 9 million barrels. What are you going to do about it? So the plan is to suck more until you suck it dry. And then what? Then what? Then what? We're going to have the wind and the sun coming and say, we're going to help now. No. You're not going to have that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.